The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Wicked Weed Studios, wickedweedbrewing.com, drink different. This is the Sportsocracy's Minnesota Vikings 3-round mock draft. I am Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio. I'm joined by Brian Haynes to break down my 3-round mock draft for the Minnesota Vikings. Brian, what is your take on Minnesota? What do they need? What should they address with the 14th pick in the first round?
So Minnesota gave up too many yards on the ground last year. They were uncharacteristically bad on defense. Normally, you don't see a Mike Zimmer-led team have this bad of a year defensively. Now, they also lost some offensive line. Riley Reiff leaves and goes over to Cincinnati, and so I think they're going to be looking for a new tackle. They also need some other needs on the offensive line, but I have them, a running back, a defensive end, a linebacker, a cornerback. They could use some help, and this team goes as far as Kirk Cousins takes them, which usually doesn't mean Super Bowl at all.
I'm okay with several of the positions you said. My biggest need for the Vikings is the offensive line. With the 14th pick, I did it again.
Yeah.
Let's try it one more time.
There it is.
I have the Minnesota Vikings taking Christian Darasaw, the offensive tackle from Virginia Tech, with the 14th pick in this draft. Brian, what are your thoughts on Christian Darasaw?
I like this kid a lot. He's a big dude, 6'5", 322 pounds. He plays with plus body control. He's got really good feet, strong hands. He keeps at pad level. The only small knock I have on him, he does seem to play like nonchalant at times. It doesn't have that killer attitude that I would like to have out of especially one of my tackles.
He does, and I'm going to level with you. I think that came from being at Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. It's a very run-heavy offense. I think there were times that he thought he was so big, plays aren't coming to him, and it makes him look bad. A lot of the tape that I saw on him, I think we've knocked him for things that he really shouldn't be knocked on. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I look for in a complete left tackle is somebody that grades similarly in the run game that they do in the passing game.
Yeah.
He's over a 90 grade as a run blocker and a pass blocker, which is why I think he has the potential to be the second left tackle that comes out of this class behind Penei Sewell. And with the 79th pick in the third round, I have him taking Arderius Washington from TCU. This is a guy I am super fond of. The tape wasn't as good last year as it had been in the past, but this is a guy that's slot versatile, which to me is a positive because they do have there's some criminal things going on with Jeff Gladney that make me, I'm not 100% sure whether he's going to be there all year.
Yeah.
He can also play safety. He's a guy that I think would be a toy for Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, he's a little bit of an undersized safety, but he plays with great instincts. He's got a lot of passion for the game. He plays hard all the time. I really like the tape that I saw on him. He's a good back pedal. He just takes some overzealous angles at times, which leads to him getting in a little bit of trouble.
He's 5'8", about $180. If he was 5'11", $195, I think he would be a late 1, early 2. I would have him ahead of his defensive backfield mate Trevon Moehrig. Mm-hmm. I like his IQ better. I like the way he plays the game. He sees the game in a very specific way, which I'm a big fan of. I like this kid a lot. I've compared him to Tyrann Mathieu. I think he can be that good, and he doesn't come with the baggage that Tyrann Mathieu did.
Yeah.
This would be a quality pick to me for the Minnesota Vikings. With the 90th pick in the third round, I have them taking Trey Smith. This is a formerly very highly thought of recruit. He was I want to say he was the number 1 recruit in the nation, but I know he was in the top 5. Going into Tennessee, I feel like he was put in some less than ideal positions. Brian, how do you feel about Trey Smith?
He's perfect for a power-based scheme. And what does Minnesota run? Power-based scheme. Delvin Cook, let's get him out in the running. He's got really heavy hands. He's really strong. He's a wide load. He destroys people at first contact. He gets off of the snap and just gets into people really quickly. He does have a lack of range, and he does need to improve his footwork. But For getting this guy as late as the 90th pick, I think this is somebody that could be a solid backup, if not a starter in the future.
He's very heavy-footed, but he's also 6'6", 330. I have him slotted to play guard. He came into Tennessee as a tackle. He's moved all over the line. This is a guy that I think has the ability to be – he's a little scheme-dependent, and I think he would fit in Minnesota. I look at what Minnesota's done with Brian O'Neill, and they have kind of – it's similar stories. They're not exactly the same when they were coming out of college, going into the pros. I look at what they've done with Brian O'Neill. I think they could do the same thing with Trey Smith. And I think if they do that, he could end up being a longtime starter in this league. And here's what I can tell you definitively as a Jets fan. He's better than Dakota Dozier ever plans on wanting to be. He is markedly more talented. Live from the Weekend Weed Studios, this has been the Sportsocracy's Minnesota Vikings 3-round mock draft. I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Brian Haynes. Be sure to click the little beer icon in the bottom right-hand corner to subscribe to this channel so you know every time we go live. We will be live for every pick of the 2021 NFL Draft starting on April 29th. As they happen, live analysis. We'll have podcasters from all over the country joining in to give their takes on their teams. Until next time, I'm Jeremy Greene. This is Brian Haynes.